Today I will speak on Indian plays in English as a performing art. In English literature, we talk a lot about poetry, prose and novels, but still drama is a bit neglected. So I thought of talking on Indian plays in English. Bharata enumerates 49 vows, which includes a wide range of human experience, occupying the entire space, the stage, the proscenium, as well as the mysterious space of the human mind. The origin of the drama is deeply rooted in the religious instincts of mankind. This is true of the Greek, Indian, Chinese, Egyptian, and also of the Christian drama. Here I will discuss about Bharata. Bharat, actually, his name is Bharat, but in English we pronounce as Bharata. He was a great classical critic in Sanskrit drama, and he has talked about different type of expressions and bhavs. And still now we follow the theories of Bharat in performing plays in English or Hindi or whatever it is. But he has been very popular among Indian writers who write in vernacular or in English. So we owe a debt to him for writing critical notes on plays, and he was a very popular theoretician as far as Sanskrit dramas are concerned. In spite of the impressive record of Indian English drama, it has to be conceded that in terms of both quantity and quality, it lags far behind Indian English poetry and particularly Indian English novel. Various reasons have been attributed to the paucity of Indian drama in English. It is generally felt that Indian playwrights in English have failed to draw upon the rich and varied Indian dramatic traditions, as also to make critical and creative use of the rich fund of Indian myth and Indian historical heritage. Yet another important reason given for stunted growth of Indian drama in English is its unsuitability for production on the stage. No doubt we have had highly talented and enterprising Indians who seriously attempted drama in English, but seldom for actual stage production. Indian English drama has also suffered for want of real theatre and a live audience in India. Above all, the major hurdle for the flourishing of Indian English drama is said to be the lack of a viable language as suitable medium for its expression. It is generally believed that we have very few actable plays, mainly because a dialogue between Indians may not sound convincing except when the characters are drawn from an urban, sophisticated milieu. But it is not proper to take such a narrow and short-sighted view of the problem. Therefore, the Indian English playwrights need not have any qualms about making their Indian characters speak in English if they can take sufficient care to create convincing characters. On top of that, the Indian English dramatists should strive hard to turn their professional and natural limitations into artistic assets in the manner of their ancient forebears. They can, however, do so only if they succeed in overcoming the temptation to play to a foreign gallery and to blindly imitate the Western models. They must necessarily write with a sense of rootedness, revealing a true Indian sensibility. However, they should be grounded in contemporary problem while deriving inspiration and sustenance from their ancient culture. While drawing on Indian history, epics, legends, myths, folklore, art and culture, they should not lag behind, and they should not lose sight of the innovative themes and techniques and current trends in the world of drama today. According to Bharata, poetry, dance and mime in life's play produce emotion, but only drama produces flavor, that is ras or rasa. The drama uses the 8 basic emotions of love, joy, anger, sadness, pride, fear, aversion and wonder, attempting to resolve them in the 9th holistic feelings of peace. Thus, when the dramatic art was well comprehended, the Natya Veda was performed on the occasion of the celebration of Lord Indra's victory over the Asurs and Danavas. In the Natya Shastra, there is a verse in its 6th chapter which can be quoted as Bharat Muni's own summary of his dramatic theory. The combination called Natya is a mixture of ras, bhav, abhinay, dharmis, vritis, parvritis, siddhi, swar, instruments, song and theatre house. After the breakdown of Sanskrit classical tradition in North India in 10th century, there was reflowering of the performance and traditions in South India. It was first manifested in Kutiyattam of Kerala, the only surviving performing tradition of Sanskrit drama. Kuttiyattam found place in large Vishnu temples performed in temple theatre called Kotambalam. Kings provided the patronage to the theatre, later in play on the life of Krishna, which found place in large Krishna temple of Guruvyar. Along with this, Kathakali, with its highly codified performance, elements also derived. Kathakali too found patronage from the kings and the temples. In Karnataka state, there evolved the 17th century Yakshgan, which performed the stories from two epics. All these forms retained recitation and storytelling format, which have been the root form of Indian performance tradition. Rabindranath Tagore and Sri Aurobindo, the two great poets of India, are the first Indian dramatists in English worth considering. Tagore wrote primarily in Bengali, but almost all his Bengali plays are available to us in English renderings. His important plays are Chitra, The Post Office, Sacrifice, Chandalika, Natir Puja, The King of the Dark Chamber, The Cycle of Spring, Sannyasi, and The Mother's Prayer. Another playwright who has made significant contribution to the growth of Indian English drama is Harendranath Chattopadhyay. He started his career as a playwright with Abu Hassan. The Window and the Parrot deal with the lives of the poor, whereas the Sentry's Lantern is a symbolic display of the experience of the advent of a new age for the downtrodden people. Bharati Sarabhai is the woman playwright during the colonial era of Indian English drama. She has written two plays, The Well of the People and Two Women, with some considered measure of success. Girish Karnad, a recipient of the Gyanpith Award, is a living legend in the arena of contemporary Indian English drama. His journey from Yayati to the fire and the rain holds a mirror to the very evolution of Indian English theatre. Tughlaq, Haivadan, Teledanda and Nagamandala are some of his wonderful dramatic creations. Very recently, Indian English drama shot into prominence, and younger writers like Mahesh Dattani and Manjula Padmanabhan have infused new life into this branch of writing. Mahesh Dattani is a promising playwright. Some of his important plays are Where There Is a Will, Final Solution, Dance Like a Man, and Tara. While Indian poetry and fiction in English have established themselves in the forefront of world literature, Indian plays in English have lagged behind the march. Numerous plays are being written in English for the last 4 decades. Not much has come along by way of production. Some playwrights have arrived like Guru Charan Das, Deena Mehta, Pratap Sharma and Kamal Kapoor in a big way. Mostly, plays written in English are literally meant only to be real. English plays in India are written for proscenium theatre, so naturally the playwrights would be aware of the acquaintance of stage for the enactment. The plays written in English are cut off from the social and political realities. As a matter of fact, the English plays cater to the middle class sensibilities, and therefore it is not able to have critical acclaim like the vernacular plays. The vernacular theatre is thriving with new ideas and new concept in Indian language plays like Julus, Thank You Mr. Glad, Aadhe Adhure, Ras Gandharv, Devyani, Ka Kehna Hai, Ek Tha Raja, etc. have moved the audience, winning high critical acclaim. A playwright has to acquaint himself totally with the technique of production as well. Though we have writers like Guru Charan Das, Pratap Sharma, P.S. Vasudev, Kamal Kapoor, Adi Marjaban, Mahesh Dattani who are writing English plays, the English theatre scenario is bleak. Why this poverty in Indian drama in English? Does language pose a barrier to conceiving dramatic situations and conflicts? There are about 500 Indian plays in English, but most of the plays have loose construction. Drama is first and foremost meant to be staged, and unless there is professional stage and encouraging box office prospect, there is no incentive to the playwright. And in a country where English is particularly confined to the academics and is spoken as mother tongue by a microscopic minority, one can never hope to find a play, however good it may be, to run on a stage in a regular way. Some of the important writers who have tried their hands at drama are Sudhendranath Ghosh, Colony of a Great City, R.K. Narayan, K.R.S. Iyengar, Balwant Gargi and Mrinalini Sarabhai. Pratap Sharma wrote 2 plays, A Touch of Brightness and Professor Has a War Cry. His plays were staged even abroad successfully, but they failed to be staged in the country. Sex remains the prime theme of his plays, but Pratap Sharma shows a keen sense of situation and his dialogue often effective. Nisimi Jikil's 3 plays, including Nalini, a comedy, Marriage Poem, a tragicomedy, and The Sleepwalkers, an Indo-American farce, is considered to be a welcome addition to the dramaturgy of Indian English drama. A study of Vijay Tendulkar, Mohan Rakesh, Mukti Bodh, Badal Sarkar and Girish Karnad, Vinod Kumar amply reveals that they have added a new dimension to Indian drama through their substantial contributions. As a matter of fact, there is no audience for English plays in India. A few centers like Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Kolkata may be exceptions. In Mumbai, English plays are staged on a regular basis, sponsored by big multinational companies. Special mention may be made of Adi Marzaban, the writer-director, who dishes out mostly light comedies to the packed audience. At Mumbai, his plays are meant for the high society people who want to have some live excitement. English theatre has always had to contend with somewhat superficial audience, whether it was the dinner jacket variety, which reigned supreme in the early 60s, or the pseudo-intellectuals of 1970s. It is really paradoxical that people throng to see English movies for various reasons, but are not keen to see English plays in India. Even though Indian drama in English is branded as closet drama, there is no setup in the publication of plays. Like the Sanskrit dramatists in ancient days, the Indian playwrights in English have little interest in stage technique. The Indian English plays are meant to be read than to be performed. Indian plays in English fails as performing art because the plays are more literary. They cannot be called theatre in the true sense of the term. O.P. Bhatnagar is of the opinion that the trouble with these plays is that the felt experience is not deep enough to convince the conflict. Indian plays in English are farcical and teasing below the belt, and in this it is definitely inferior to the vernacular theatre. Mahesh Dattani, the well-known playwright and director of English plays, rues the fact that English language theatre falls short in technique. The India's well-known contemporary playwright Mahesh Dattani is about to change the pathetic scenario of English theatre as a performing art. Sita Raina, who has directed Mahesh Dattani's play Where There Is a Will, describes him as a playwright who paints through provoking and introspective scripts. Stage directors Alak Padamsee and Lilet Dubey seem to think that in Dattani we finally have a playwright with some convictions. Alak Padamsee says, unlike so many of his contemporaries, Dattani is not writing plays that revive old myths and legends. He is one of the few, really the only playwright in English today who writes about modern India and who uses the theatre as a forum for airing social and political issues. Exposing the sham of middle-class values, Mahesh Dattani has brought a fresh air to the English stage, and since he directs his own plays, he concentrates on theatre technique. English language theatre falls short in technique, for the stage is the most difficult thing of all, whatever the system. Of late, a few English playwrights are emerging well-informed of the requirements of the medium. English theatre is indebted to the fantastic work done by Barry John, who is working through his actor workshop on a regular basis. There are good directors like Fazal Alkaji, Alak Padamsee, but their works lack in continuity. Good directors contribute a lot to the meaningful writing for theatre. No doubt, English theatre is lagging behind the vernacular theatre as performing art because the English scripts are not committed to the common man. The theatre has to communicate to the people who are on the fringe. The Indian English plays are structured after discussion among characters to a sort of intellectual concern and excitement at the surface level. Harmony between the characters and language is maintained. The plays reconstruct the illusion of reality with a sincerity and sensitiveness. The trouble with them is that the felt experience is not deep enough to convince and conceive the conflict or situation as drama. Social and political concern is lacking in Indian English plays, but their greatest defect lies in the poverty of imagination and imagination applied to the themes chosen for dramatization. They make good reading, but not good drama. So we finish the lecture on Indian drama or Indian plays in English as a performing art. So what do we find? We find that no doubt English plays written in English, they are promising, but yet they have not come up to a stage where poetry and drama have arrived. Why? Because They are cut off from the social milieu, from the social realities of life. It is mostly written for the highbrows and superficial community in India. It doesn't cater to the lower middle class. It doesn't cater to the poor class. And so it is not a committed theatre. But I think that if you want to succeed, besides learning the art of theatre technique as a craft, you have to have some sort of mingling with people. We should have mingling with the common man. Only then your theatre can survive. And for that, we need commitment. Thank you very much.